Imagine living a life, no matter how many times you wash your hands, they are never clean enough. Or no matter how level a picture frame is, it is still somehow crooked in your mind. Now think about how this could affect relationships, family, and the overall well-being of those around you. Today, nearly 2.2 million people are affected by obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, according to an article from the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, copyright 2016. This is a disorder that is equally found in men and women, and most show signs by the age of 14. Now, with a condition that is as widespread as this one, it is important to first define what OCD is and what can cause it. Next, we must uncover the effects of this disorder. And lastly, look into some of the possible preventative measures that can be taken to cure OCD. It is important to be informed on these disorders so we can be educated if one ever runs into someone affected by this disorder. Now, in order to fully comprehend the effects of this disorder, we must first delve into what it is. So what is obsessive compulsive disorder? Well, according to the International OCD Foundation, IOCDF.org, copyright 2016, OCD is a disorder of the brain and behavior. The site states, it causes severe anxiety in those affected. It involves obsessions and compulsions that take a lot of time and get in the way of important activities the person values. It is also known as an anxiety disorder, the website states. At times, I believe that I have a small amount of OCD in my life, as I always have my room in a certain way, or like my workstation set up in a particular way. If it isn't exactly to my liking, then I try to switch it. So what are the causes of OCD? An article posted on siteguides.com, copyright 2016, states, although what causes obsessive compulsive disorder is not fully known, theories have been developed. OCD may have a biological basis in the result of changes in a person's higher cognitive functions brought about by neurochemical imbalances. The second theory is that OCD may have been caused by environmental factors and born behavior-related habits a person has been learning over time. But the exact cause is not known. The textbook, Treating and Preventing Adolescent Mental Health Disorders by Dwight L. Evans and his team of authors, copyright 2005, states that children and adolescents with OCD often present both obsessions and compulsions, although many of the youngest sufferers have trouble showing their obsessions. In order for one to be diagnosed with such a disorder, they have to first show functional impairment, which disrupts normal behavior, says Evans. Now that we know what OCD is, we can now uncover the debilitating effect of it. The effects of OCD are widespread and can be different for everyone. Hand washing is a major effect found in many people. Nathan Vigratz says in a short narrative on beyondocd.org, copyright 2016, I've battled the roller coaster of OCD since I was 9, and now I'm 24. Uncomfortable with my hand washing rituals, I hid my behavior as much as I could from my parents, friends, and teachers. Hand washing gradually turned into excessive perfectionism, religiousness, and politeness as I went from middle school into high school. My social life was non-existent, and I was consumed by being and living as a perfect person. I strongly felt and believed that this is what God wanted me to do. Now, it is sad for a person to feel like, to accept their disorder as if it was what God intended them to do. I think that it is important for someone to stay positive in any situation like this. Some other effects of OCD are unwanted sexual thoughts, fear of losing control, contamination, harm, perfectionism, constant checking of objects, washing and cleaning, and repeating a certain action, as found on the International OCD Foundation website, IOCDF.org, copyright 2016. Now, OCD has numerous effects, but there are also preventative measures that can be taken in order to lessen these obsessions and compulsions. Now, there is no absolute cure for OCD. But the textbook Treating and Preventing Adolescent Mental Health Disorders by Dwight L. Evans and his team of authors, copyright 2005, states that a measure taken to reduce the effects of OCD in children and adolescents is physiosocial treatments. The book states, exposure and response prevention involves therapist-assisted in vivo exposure treatments and to feared to feared situations, imaginal exposure to feared disasters, and instructions to refrain and avoid these behaviors. There are also numerous types of anxiety medications that can be prescribed by doctors, says Evans. In the end, OCD is still somewhat unknown in terms of cures and causes. During this speech, we covered what OCD is, as well as looked into some theories as to what could cause it. Next, we discussed the numerous effects of this disorder, and lastly, we tried to find some possible preventions and minor cures for OCD. Now, the next time you find yourself washing your hands repeatedly or constantly checking if you lock the door before you go to bed, think to yourself, I could have OCD.